The ground still holds its shape, as though the passing of such an animal were not an event, but a season. In places like this, the smallest lives are often the first to sense that the forest has changed. At the water's edge, caution becomes a kind of wisdom. Even before the giant appears, his influence is already written into the land. From above, the scale of this world is difficult to grasp. Then one begins to notice the tracks. Here, beneath ancient boughs, even alertness has a quiet, practiced form. In the dark margins of root and water, older hungers keep their own counsel. Every creature here lives by reading the spaces between safety and movement. The forest is not silent. It is listening. At the wet edge of the world, patience is often the surest way to survive it. Those who are small endure by never lingering where great bodies may soon return. Distance does not diminish the weight of what has passed below. It only reveals how far that weight reaches. The predator does not challenge such power. He merely acknowledges it. And there he is at last, not emerging from the forest, but seeming to rise out of it. For an animal of this size, even a pause carries enormous consequence. The young runner flees. The giant simply continues. When he moves, the boundary between river and land becomes uncertain. A crossing, once made with ease, can begin almost imperceptibly to betray those who depend upon it. Others give way at once. The forest teaches that hesitation has its price. He does not yet drink. He judges. Seen from the heights, he seems almost measured, but the trees tell a different story. He does not force his way through this place. He redefines it. The water is different now. Darker, heavier, less willing to be crossed. To pass behind a trunk is to vanish for a moment. To emerge again at that scale is to remind the forest what scale truly means. There are moments when even a giant must read the ground with care. The first step into failure is seldom dramatic. It is simply one step too far. Where the land weakens, the hunters gather to watch. He cannot turn from it now. Forward is the only language left to him. The plated grazer yields the path without argument. He has no need to learn this lesson twice. A broken bank is more than damage. It is a warning. He presses on, but the corridor is no longer the corridor he knew. Even the creatures of mud and still water seem to sense the disturbance passing above them. From the ridge, the change is unmistakable. The old route is beginning to come apart. In the seams of root and water, the world is already unmaking itself. He feels it beneath him now, the subtle treachery of ground losing its promise. The predator waits at the margin, measuring not courage, but opportunity. Ahead lies not a path, but a narrowing choice. This is the moment the forest gives way. He survives not by grace, but by mass momentum and the terrible certainty of going on. Behind him, the old passage collapses into memory. What was once a crossing is now an obstacle, and the land has chosen sides. The watcher remains. In a changed world, patience may yet be rewarded. To continue, he must leave the sheltering low ground and trust the harsher heights. Only from here can one see the truth of it. The forest has been cut into two worlds. On higher ground he is exposed, but still unstoppable. Even among other great herbivores, his shape belongs to a different order of life. The earth here offers no welcome. It merely permits passage. Against the stepped clay, his size becomes almost abstract, until one remembers he is alive. For the small survival lies in recognizing when the landscape itself has become dangerous. He enters the Badlands as he entered the forest by making the root exist beneath him. The clay will keep these marks long after the moment has passed. Over open ground, the eye can wander. It always returns to the giant. There is no shelter here, only distance and endurance. The hunter does not follow too closely. Some forces are best respected from afar. From the heights again, he seems to carry the scale of the world with him. Smaller grazers peel away from his path. They need only one glance to understand. The bad ground relents at last, but not before exacting its toll in effort. At the hidden edge of root and mud life, persists in forms both ancient and unseen. He returns toward greener ground, but it is no longer the place he left behind. At the dark margin he pauses, and for a moment the whole broken world seems to wait with him. He has found water again, but not the old certainty that once came with it. From the high ground another giant appears across the divide. Not a companion, merely another life shaped by the same unforgiving land. He keeps to the ridge now, where the world is harsher, but the ground at least speaks honestly. The map of this place has been redrawn, not by intention, but by water weight and time. At the ruined crossing, the hunter lingers. He has learned that change gathers bodies. Seen from afar, the giant continues as he always has. But below him, the world is no longer continuous. He returns to the trees, though the refuge they once offered has already begun to thin. The little runner knows what the Great One has not yet fully accepted, that this grove no longer leads where it once did. He reads the torn edge carefully. A giant, too, must sometimes listen. Across the broken forest, another browser still moves as though the old world remains. But from here, the separation is plain. The predator waits where the route has narrowed to danger. Such places concentrate possibility. He follows the line of the grove, though it is now a line interrupted by absence. The plated grazer passes on. In a landscape like this, even the heavily armed prefer distance over confusion. And there at last, the truth of it. The forest does not continue. It simply ends in water. He has come to the edge of memory. Beyond this point, habit is useless. Even the creatures of still water hold their ground, while the giant measures what cannot be stepped around. For a moment he seems almost uncertain, not weak only, confronted by a world that no longer behaves as it did before. At the hidden margins, small lives remain intent on their own survival, indifferent to the crisis above them. So he turns away from the dead end, carrying with him the knowledge that the old route is gone. From the ridge, the answer is stark. There is only one crossing left. He approaches it with the solemnity of something vast forced into something narrow. Again, the watcher waits, trusting the land to do what tooth and claw cannot. He gathers himself at the brink, where every choice now leads through risk. The lesser grazer yields the path without hesitation. Whatever comes next belongs to the giant alone. The crossing is no longer a place. It is an ordeal. Even the hunter keeps his distance now. There are moments when violence becomes larger than appetite. One step more, and the world will either bear him or take him. The route has been reduced to wood water and collapse. Above it all, another witness passes silently, as if the sky itself were watching. Now there is no pause left in him, only commitment. He enters the flood as a continent enters the sea. Those who can flee do so at once. The crossing belongs to mass now. The water takes most of him from sight, but not from consequence. Only the highest line of the giant remains above the surface. The rest is translated into pressure, turbulence, and fear. He is no swimmer by elegance. He is a swimmer by necessity. Even half-hidden, he alters the whole body of water around him. The predator waits on firmer ground. He understands that this is not yet his moment. Root, timber, flood. All of it gives way, bit by bit, to the same relentless passage. Now the far bank is close enough to matter and still far enough to kill. The giant begins to rise again, bringing half the river with him. At last, earth. Not safety, but earth. He leaves the water behind, though the water has remade the land he steps into. The crossing is complete. The old world is not. By the following day, the still margins already behave as though this new shape of water has always been here. He walks on through the aftermath, carrying no sign of triumph, only continuation. From the heights, the alteration is final. Two forests now face one another across a wound. What remains of the grove must learn a new order, one step, one route, one bank at a time. Another great hunter stands above the changed valley inheritor of a landscape made harsher overnight. He passes the new waterline as though it had always been part of his world. Perhaps for him that is the only way to survive such change. The giant endures. But the place he has crossed will never again be the place it was.